So what's the deal with the new study regarding the Oreos and statins? Now, if you are not familiar with it, I will have a link and maybe you can have a look at it first. Basically, to some quick summary, right? Dr. Nick Norwitz did a N+1 experiment using Oreos and statins, okay, to lower his LDL cholesterol. Now he is a lean mass hyperresponder, which means he has LDL of above 200, HDL above 80, and triglycerides below 70. So he is of the lean mass hyperresponder phenotypes, and he's on a low carb diet. Okay, now so what he did, or actually it's just part of his okay, why he used Oreos obviously is because it's clickbait, right? It's sensational, and when you talk about Oreos and lowering LDL, it sells on the internet, and that's one of the main purpose. He could have used bananas or potatoes for that matter. But secondly, he's trying to prove a point that junk food can lower LDL. So that's important. Okay, but I think what he did was, what he wanted to show was the lipid energy model, in which as part of the hyperresponder, lean mass hyperresponder phenotype. Anyway, it's an ongoing this is an ongoing hypothesis, and he's using this experiment to show that the LDL lowering effects of actually carbs, right? To show how lipid energy model may work, and actually it's predictive. So I think a lot of times we get caught up in saturated fats will cause you to have clog your heart and cause you a heart attack, or give you cancer, or cholesterol will increase your risk of heart disease, and so on and so forth. But these are hypotheses, and when you have hypotheses, you need to be able to have put forth a theory, or put forth a prediction for it to be useful. So in this case, for the lipid energy model, he also put forth the fact that if he's on a low carb diet, but he adds carbs to his daily meals, it will lower his LDL, and that is shown to be predictive and predictable. Actually, this phenomenon is already shown by using the Dave Feldman protocol. So, and he has shown that eating just ham, I think he ate ham and sausage, or I'm not too sure what is it. I think it's ham and bread. Oh, sorry, yeah, ham and white bread. He could also lower his LDL. And to tell the truth, I think quite a number of people has used the same protocol to lower their LDL, because they just want either for insurance purposes, or to get the doctor off their back. Their doctors have been asking them to put them on a statin, and and they just did that to lower their LDL, so that the doctors will get off their back for 1 year, right? Because part of the other protocol was to eat a super high fat meal, which I think a lot of people cannot tolerate. Yeah. Okay, so back to the question. So back to the experiment, right? So Nick Norwitz would have Oreos cookies for 16 days, have a washout period. That means get back to his normal metabolic state, and then take a high dose statin for 6 weeks, okay, and compare the results. So if you notice, the span of time is actually different. For Oreo cookies, it's 16 days, and for the statin arm is about 6 weeks. It's actually a much more longer period. And what he has managed to show is that eating Oreo cookies for 16 days can bring his LDL from 284 to 111, which is ideal, right? In most doctors' uh, view. And but on the statin arm, okay, he was 420, and he only managed to bring it down to about 280, 284, and that's after 6 weeks of statins, right? So in a way, it shows that Oreos is more effective in lowering your LDL cholesterol than statins, but obviously nobody would recommend it, right? Nobody would recommend a junk food to lower your LDL. So, but I think what is more imperative. So according to the guidelines, if you lower your LDL, okay, if your LDL is low, like below 120, it will reduce your risk of heart disease. So, and that is why many patients or many people has been prescribed with statins to lower their LDL cholesterol. However, this experiment shows that eating junk food similarly on a low carb diet can bring your LDL down to the standard acceptable range, right? So the question, I guess, to doctors, and now I think with this experiment, the question to doctors is lowering LDL and end all be all results, or is the process, or is what we eat more important, isn't it? So because if just by the fact that lowering LDL is supposed to reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease, then if you just ate Oreos and ate it every day, 12 of it for the rest of your life, you will have a low LDL, and secondly, because you have low LDL, you will have a lower risk of heart disease. But we know that is not true, because if you're eating 12 Oreos every day, that may actually inversely be true and may increase your risk for heart disease. It puts into questions, right, again, like, is lowering LDL the end all and be all of does it matter how you lower the LDL? Why must it be statins, and the fact that statins are not necessarily as effective? And yeah, and for example, 6 weeks on statins, and he couldn't lower his LDL to 120, which is the recommended range, right? It was still high at 284. So how much more statins should he be taking? Dr. Nick or Dr. Norwitz, right? Yeah, I think it's an interesting study, and that's something for everybody to think about.